Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Triglavians and looking into some information that has recently appeared in regards to the new Triglavian system. So I'm pretty sure by now you're aware that the Triglavians over the last couple of months have slowly been taking over systems within New Eden. These systems have turned into Triglavian systems with Triglavian Overlords. Now what that actually has meant long term has been anybody's guess. There's been a lot of speculation about what this might or might not mean. Now this has obviously caused quite a lot of disruption in regards to the Nijar system, which has isolated Jitter to Amar, which is possibly the biggest change. And at the point of recording this, there are currently 27 systems which have fallen to the Triglavians so far. So I was going about my daily business, doing the stuff that I get up to, and I came across a Reddit post. This post was posted by Archimendius, I think that's how you pronounce the name, and I take no credit for this, so all credit goes to him, and again, the people down at the bottom here who apparently have data mined the information here that I'm about to present to you. They have done Eve a great service. So, as you can see here, we have the 27 systems that have fallen so far to the Triglavians. It looks like they're going to be split into 3 different regions, from the green obviously to the red to the blue, and they could very likely have interconnecting gates within the system itself. Now the general consensus here is that you will not be able to enter this region of space via any gates, that you will need to use filaments in order to get in. But again, once you're in, you'll be able to use the stargates that now connect these systems to one another. So I will link this Reddit post in the description for you if you would like to see it, but it does contain quite a lot of interesting information. Apparently this has been data mined from a leak from CCP, so again, how credible it actually is I don't know at this moment, but again, it does contain quite a lot of quite detailed information, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's probably legitimate. So it would appear that we are getting a couple extra types of wormholes, a 16-hour life cycle, 300 million kilograms per jump, or 1 billion kilogram total. Mass will allow battleship and an orca, but not a bowhead, freighter or capital. Now one of the important things for this is it looks like there are going to be extra style filaments to get you in and out of these new Triglavian systems. Also, you're going to need specific Triglavian ore processing skills to refine better in the Triglavian systems, and they will have their new style ores there as well by the looks of it. If there's going to be anything special about these systems, then as it is, we don't currently have any information in regards to that. So, you know, why would you want to live here versus normal space is a question that can't be answered yet, and it doesn't appear to be any information specifically relating to the security status of each system, so whether it'll be classed as a high sec, whether it'll be a 0-0. I'm assuming it's going to be a 0-0 style, but again owned by NPCs or the Triglavians. And same with the rest of NPC space, going to assume that you'll find Triglavian ships in the belts that you can potentially farm. Whether they have a bounty on them is anybody's guess, but I would suspect not. The question is, however, if they don't have a bounty, etc., will they drop items like normal NPCs, and if so, what would they likely be, and will you be able to salvage the wrecks? All questions that we, again, will have to wait and find out, I guess, at this moment. Now, there's no date stated for when this is going to happen, however, due to the fact that we have extended downtime on Tuesday the 13th, I will have to again go on a limb here and state that this is probably going to be implemented tomorrow, and as it currently stands we have a lot of the gates outages at the moment, causing quite a lot of havoc within New Eden, although the gates going down are only temporary at the moment. So there's speculation to the minor systems, whether they will stay as the minor systems or whether they will revert back. At this moment it looks like there is a good possibility they will stay as minor invasion systems with roaming hordes of Triglavians, etc. Now, as it would appear that the Triglavians are obviously becoming their own specific faction, I wonder if we will be able to buy ships from the Triglavians, or whether we'll be able to do missions for them. If you've got standings, etc., if they've worked in standings, I would suspect that you'll be able to do something else in regards to the Triglavians, and they're not just going to become like a static NPC like, I don't know, the Sancha or the Blood Raiders, etc. Whether they do anything that's going to be fun or not remains to be seen, but I feel that they've put a lot of work into this, and I'd be sadly disappointed if they didn't give us some kind of reason to get standings towards the Triglavians. And which is the same generally for, as I said, the factions, that you can obviously grind factions and then run the respective missions in their space for that specific faction. So I would hope that the Triglavians are going to be very similar to that. However, on that side note as well, if you are able to run missions for them and buy the Triglavian ships, etc., then will that tank the price of abyssal items? Because obviously you'll just be able to grind loyalty points and get them on the Triglavian loyalty point market, I guess. So again, that could have quite an effect for abyssal runners if that does actually take place, or whether they'll have different items entirely, whether they'll have specific implants, etc. Again, all speculation, but quite interesting at this moment. As I say, for me personally, I'd like to see something special happening in the Triglavian systems. What that is off. Oh, look at this! We've got tie-dye in Jitter. It's always great fun, that. So yeah, I'd like to see something, unique to their space, that you can't obviously get in other NPC space, to really give you a reason to go there. Because obviously it's a lot harder, or it's going to be more difficult to get into that kind of space, I guess, than into General 00. Although I suppose you can just light a filament and jump there, but again, where you're going to jump to and what kind of problems that may cause is anybody's guess, but I guess jumping in and out could be relatively easy, where obviously travelling down to Stain can be, obviously you've got to go through a lot of 00 and can be a lot more problematic. So if they make it too easy, there'll be no risk to get in and out, but again, if they make it too awkward, hard, etc., then you're going to discourage people from going there. But again, it depends what is there and whether there's an actual reason to go there. I imagine there'll be a lot of sightseers straight off. There'll probably be a lot of gate camping if it is a 00 style system. Watch this space, but again, it does set up some fun within New Eden, that's for sure. Obviously, with it being 00 but a faction 00, then it's not going to be able to be owned by any great alliance or even small alliances. And with the wormholes only having a specific mass, not letting capitals, etc. in, I'm going to go out and again on a limb here and state that you won't be able to Sino in capitals, although potentially you will be able to build capitals there if the stations are or will let you. I suppose you can always put up your own station and build them unless they have something specific that prevents capitals, which would be quite interesting, because again that would really limit smaller gang warfare, etc. So, or to give new alliances corps a place to really grow if they really wanted it, without the potential threat of having 1,000 capitals dropped on your head. Who knows, after WWB2, maybe it'll be Goon's new home. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, and again, whether the Triglavians have been a pain or whether they have brought content to you in New Eden, and basically how you perceive all this going. So I think with that we'll pretty much wrap up the video there. I want to say a big thank you again to everybody that has subscribed to the channel so far, with some amazingly great feedback in one of the recent videos. Again, very humbling, and I just want to say again a huge thank you to everybody that has subscribed and helped to support the channel so far. A handful of people have kind of suggested that I potentially get a Patreon account, but I have decided that I won't be going that route. Again, I'm going to keep all the content here for everybody who wants it. And the best thing or best way to support me is literally like the videos and subscribe and leave your comments, etc. And I will go from there. And with that, hopefully we'll get to find out what happens in 15.5 hours on the next downtime. With that, fly safe, fly carefully, and best of luck to everybody in the next few days.